with others. Okay, we are recording. So Kristi, if you'll just kind of take it away for us, I really do appreciate you joining us tonight. Thank you so much.
Of course. I just love you to death, Kim. And I'm
Thank
so
you.
excited for y'all's team too, because I know y'all are on fire. And this is just the beginning, you guys. Just wait. So I'm just going to kind of share a little bit about my story and kind of how I got into this. And I'll pepper in some like tips and strategies and things that kind of pop into my mind that I share with my team as I go through this. But you guys, I'll pull up the chat too. Feel free at any time to unmute yourselves or send Kim a question or something that you want to ask about or whatever, or use the chat because I am totally relaxed and you're not going to throw me off anything. I don't have a script for y'all. So as Kim mentioned, I am a presidential diamond. I actually started in October of 2013, towards the end of October 2013. And there's just something I want to share about that. So Stacy is one of my good friends from high school. So Stacy Dennis, our ambassador, amazing. And I was watching her when she joined in May of 2013. And she was posting a lot and doing all these before and after pictures. And I was like, oh, my poor sweet friend. She got into this like scam company. And, oh, you know, like I just thought it was like this pop-up company and it was never going to last. And it was a spat patch and it was a fad. And I felt bad for her. But the more and more she kept posting, the more and more intrigued I was. And at the time, Facebook allowed us to post our website links. And so I would even go in and browse through her website and look at things, but I never liked any of her posts and I never commented on anything. I never once reached out to her. She never reached out to me. But I was watching what she was doing. And so that's kind of my first tip I want to share with you guys is even if it looks like people are not liking and commenting and you feel like, oh, I'm just so embarrassed because I keep posting all this stuff and I'm not getting a lot of likes and comments, I promise you, I am proof people are watching. And you just never know when that one post is going to be enough to get them to be like, okay, girl, I'm in. I want to try it. Because that's what happened. So after 6 months of watching her, at the time I was working in management, corporate management for one of the largest mutual fund companies in the world. And so I worked my way up pretty high on the corporate ladder. I was making 6 figures a year, but with that also came a 50+ hour a week schedule, traveling all the time. And I was always connected because to like a laptop or my BlackBerry, because I was always in meetings. The higher I climbed, the more meetings I had. And so I was also feeling very restless because as I was working in that 10-year career, I also had 3 babies. And so I was watching them get older and realizing how much of their lives I was missing out on. But again, joining a multi-level marketing company was the furthest thing from my mind until October of 2013. And that's where I kind of that's my defining moment from God. That's what you'll hear me say over and over. And that's where I had a pulmonary embolism, which is a blood clot in your lung. And it was that moment in the hospital, having a team of doctors and nurses standing over me, telling me I was lucky to be alive, that I realized life is too freaking short. And I was no longer happy in my job. I had lost my passion and I just yearned to be a wife and mom. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try things. Well, I get out of the hospital and Stacy posted again. And this time she posted about the business. And at that time she was a double diamond. And so she posted about the bonus she had made, Russell had made. Her sister was working her way to her bonus. And I was just like, you are kidding me that she's making this much money selling fat wraps. But again, it was that one post. It intrigued me. I reached out to her and I was like, all right, girl, you got me. I'm going to try your wraps, not the business. And she, of course, you know, in true Stacy magic, told me about all the reasons why I could do this. And I told her all the reasons why I couldn't, hung up the phone, went to her website, and I was like, you know what, screw it. It's $40 more. I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to earn enough to get some free product. And that was it. So then I joined in October of 2013. So keep posting. People are watching. And I think the biggest thing about watching us is they're watching to see, are we consistent? Are we going to be like everybody else in their newsfeed who starts a multi-level marketing business and then quits it because it is a scam or a pyramid scheme, as people think? So keep posting. Stay consistent. The other thing too that I'll tell you guys is when I joined in October of 2013, I overcomplicated this business. Okay. So there was a few things that I didn't know then that I learned at conference that I'm going to share with you guys. And that's when my business took off. Okay. So the first thing that I did not do at all when I first started this business was parties. So at the time, Stacy was doing a lot of one-on-one wrap appointments and talking to people while she would put the wrap on. And I mean, she grew to a diamond in 45 days doing it that way. And so she had not really done a party. And of course, I was down here in San Antonio, so I hadn't done a party. And to be honest, I was like, I am not going to be the crazy Tupperware lady going to people's houses and standing up in front of them and talking about Tupperware. Obviously not Tupperware, but y'all know what I mean. I was like, I'm not going to do it. So I didn't. The other way I was overcomplicating this business is because the business-minded person I was from my corporate career, I was totally thinking I had to put a business plan in place. And I needed to have like these goals and this plan, and then I would tackle it. And also as part of my business plan, I was also going to need to do all the training. I needed to learn these products inside and out. I needed to learn everything I could before I started really talking about this business to people. And so I feel like I wasted a lot of time the first few months I started because of just trying to learn this business. And the thing is yeah, I got a lot of information, and I had people joining me. So let me fast forward and tell you guys that Stacy convinced me, even though I had just signed up in October, Stacy convinced me in December to just go to conference that January. So January 2014. And I was like, that is not my thing, girl. Like, I am not a rah-rah cheerleader. Like, oh, I'm going to fire you up. Like, that's not my thing. Like, I am self-motivated. I don't need that. But she convinced me. And at the time they had this Christmas cash bonus. And so I got that. And my husband was like, just go. I mean, it's like free money. You just got that bonus. Just go. So I was like, all right, fine, I'm going to go. So I went, but I want to tell y'all this. When I went to conference, I almost had an emerald chart built, but I had not yet even promoted to executive. So I want to share how that happened. So do you know how sometimes you get people who come into this business and they just take off fast and they hit like diamond like Stacy did in 45 days, or, you know, they hit ambassador in 6 or 7 months. And I mean, you're just like standing there like, what? And of course, comparison is the thief of all joy. So then you look around and you're like, dang it, they did it that fast. And here I am, I haven't even promoted to executive, or I can't even sign a distributor. The thing I want to point out to you guys is that some of us get into this business with a ready-made market, right? Some of us already have a market of people that have the money, that are wanting to try new things, and or that are already business like-minded people. And so they get it. And they're like, you know what? I trust you. If you're putting your name on this and really like going out and saying this is legit, then I trust you and I'm going to join. And so that's what happened to me. I had like 10 people on my team when I went to conference in 2014, but I want to remind you, I was overcomplicating the business. And so what I wasn't doing is I wasn't sharing it with enough people. I was posting on Facebook, but oh my God, y'all, I go back and I look, when my pictures come up on Time Hop, like I want to cringe because they were so salesy. They were so cheesy. And I was just like, I cannot even believe I got the people I got that way. So because I had the 10 people on my team, but I wasn't really completing the steps to success because I hadn't been introduced to that yet, I didn't have the volume. And so I had not promoted. I did not promote in October of 2013. I did not promote in November. I did not promote in December. I went to conference in January 2014 and it changed my life. So that's the other thing I want to tell you guys is you have to get to these events. They do something. And, you know, Kim can come back or your sponsor can come back from these events and share with you guys like all the amazing things, because that's what we do as leaders. We want to share it all to everybody who wasn't there. But it's just not going to be the same as when you're in the room and it's filled with like-minded people and you see that there are so many people in that room that are just like you or different or, you know, and they've done it. I mean, it is inspiring. Well, the light bulb moments that I had for me in January 2014 conference was, number one, I learned the steps to success. So Madra was on stage and she pulled out the steps to success and she talked about it. And I was like, gosh. And again, Stacy was kind of new at the time. She'd only been in, 6 months, and she grew really fast. So she was just trying to keep up with everything. And so this was not something we talked a lot about on our team. So I had no idea what it was. And hearing Madra on stage, which was a Black Diamond at the time, or still is, she talked about the steps to success and that every month that's all she does. And that's how she grew to Black Diamond. And she said, I just print out this sheet of paper every single month and I get after it. And I write down the names. And as I'm signing them, I'm writing them down. And you know what? When I finish it, I crumple it up and I throw it away. I give myself a high five. I print out another one and I get going. There are some months that I get through 2, 3, 4 steps to success, and there's some months that I don't get through any of them. But the purpose is, this was my business plan. This was my missing point. And for me, I'm a very visual person. And so just having that as my light bulb moment, I got it. I understood it. And so I came back and I got to work. And to this day, every single month, I print out my steps to success. And this is how I get after it. And I have like all my, the loyal customers I signed, the distributors. You can see I still need one more distributor for this month. I'm a little behind there. BOGO's kind of getting my attention for the LCs. But I also will make other notes. So as I'm signing new LCs, I'm talking to them about doing a party for me because I want to help them also get more credit and, perk points and all that good stuff. And I want to try to get them really involved into the business. And so I feel like the best way I can get them involved into the business is watching me present these products to their friends and seeing their friends get excited. So I also keep that. So I want to tell you guys, if you're not printing out these steps to success every single month and using this as your guide every month, then that's probably why you're not growing as fast as what you're thinking you should be. So do not overcomplicate this business. The second thing I learned at conference in January 2014 is Pam Souter was up on stage and she did a mock wrap party. And that was the first wrap party I ever saw. And she used just the regular party pad presentation, and she went through it. And she had, at the time they were mostly presidentials. Now they're all ambassador up on stage. And she did a mock wrap party with them. And it was funny and it looked fun. And I was like, oh my God, I could totally do that. That's just like hanging out with my friends and like talking about the products that I had already fallen in love with. I could do that. And so I got home and I told my little team of 10 what I learned at conference, but then I didn't wait on them, y'all. I just got after it. I told them about the bonuses. I said, I am running for this $10,000 diamond bonus and I am going to get it. And I want y'all to run with me. Nobody signed up and said, or nobody like held up their hand and said, okay, I want to go for it. Some of them were like, okay, yeah, but none of them, were like, okay, let's do it. And I didn't let that stop me, because here's the one thing that I've really learned about this business is your business is only, the success of your business is really only indicative on what you're doing. You can't rely on your downline to get you to that promotion level, and you can't rely on your upline to get you to that promotion level. It's all in you. The magic is in you. So yeah, you can't keep growing and you can't keep growing strong if you're doing it on your own. You do need your team. But what I'm talking about is you need your team, so you need to pour into your team. You need to train your team. If they've trusted you to jump on board with this business, do your part. Be the leader that you would want, right? Or that you have. Be that for them. But then you cannot wait for them to sign their loyals and sign their distributors. You got to keep doing what you're doing. And the biggest thing that I've seen, especially with the Ruby bonus, I feel like the Ruby bonus is kind of this double-edged sword, right? It's this amazing opportunity. So many people on my team have gotten the Ruby bonus. I'm sure a lot of you have too. But the double-edged sword comes in is I see people get the Ruby bonus and then they feel like they've arrived. They get that preliminary commission. They see their first commission check that's over $1,000 because they got the $500 Ruby bonus on top of their commissions. And they're like, this is amazing. I just signed up 2 months ago and I'm already getting this huge commission check. And then I see them slowly take off the gas that month. And I have to tell y'all, do not let Ruby really fuzz out what you're going for. Like Ruby should not be the end all. And if it is, that's okay. A lot of people join this business because they just need an extra $300, $400 a month. But you guys, you have to remember, it's not going to sustain if you take off the gas. Like Ruby shouldn't be your arrival point to where now you're thinking, okay, like I've made it. I've got this awesome commission check. And then now all of a sudden you're looking at your team and like, come on. But then you stop posting, you stop wrapping people, you stop doing parties, you stop reaching out to people because you know what? They haven't arrived. They haven't gotten that bonus yet. They're getting fueled by the fire you have. So if you let that fire out just a little bit, then they're going to totally let that because they need you. They're your fire. So if you want the momentum on your team, you've got to create that momentum and don't let off the gas. Okay. So, but I do also know that there are times where you build a team to let's just say Ruby. I feel, if you haven't heard, I'm sure you've heard because we all talk about it, but Ruby is kind of the pinnacle mark of this business. And what I mean by that is once you know how to build a Ruby, that's all you need to get to ambassador, to get to Black Diamond, because all you're doing at each promotion level is building Rubies. So there are times you build a Ruby or build to Ruby, and then what happens? It starts to crumble. Like maybe life got in your way and you did let off the gas. Maybe life got in their way. Maybe fear overtook them. That's the biggest thing that I see in this business. People are on fire when they join. They're excited. They're anxious. They're nervous. And then if they don't sign a loyal customer right away or distributor right away within their first 2 weeks, then all of a sudden fear sets in and they feel like I can't do this. And so instead of saying I'm struggling with this or, oh crap, it's getting a little bit harder than I thought, what you're going to get is you're going to get that phone call saying, hey, Kristi, I think I'm going to quit. I just don't have the time for this. And your job, again, as the leader is to talk to them about that and just say, you know what? It's just fear. And I can't tell you how many times I've talked people off of the ledge by just really trying to help understand like what is going on and let's dig into it and let me show you how I can help you. But I never quit on anyone. And I tell everybody, if you joined me and you paid that $99 business kit, you are paid up for 12 months. That's 12 months free. Your free right to earn money in this business. So if somebody comes back to you and says, you know what, I just don't have the money. If that's their reason, then tell them, if we need to, we can turn off your website. I'll show you how to do that. And you can turn off your auto shipment. You just got to stay committed to getting your 150 in PPV to stay commission qualified. And as soon as you start making those commissions back, then you get that auto shipment turned back on. But don't quit. You're paid up for 12 months. And then it's crazy. Like even just 2 hours ago, I got a message from somebody who said, hey, I've got an LC that wants to order. Can you give me my ID number? Because same thing happened. Back in March, she turned off her auto shipment. She turned off her website. I told her, I'm not giving up on you. I'm not quitting. I still tag her on things. And you know what? Here she goes. She's back up and running. So you just never know. The other thing I want to go back to is, so in January, I told y'all I went to conference. I was Emerald built, but I still had not promoted. Well, that fire that kind of sparked in me at conference, and I got home and I got running that month in January, I promoted to executive. The following month in February, I double promoted Ruby Emerald. And then in March, I promoted to Diamond. And at that point, I was on fire. I had my first runner, and she was already Emerald, and she was running for Diamond. So I did not let off the gas in April, and I kept running with her. And we were doing, I am not kidding, sometimes like 10 to 12 parties a week. And yes, I know that it was a sacrifice for my family. I was already working full time, and it was a sacrifice because that meant that I was doing my parties at night, and I was doing a crap ton of parties on the weekend. I mean, sometimes 2 on Friday night, 3 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. I mean, that was not out of the norm. But I knew it was a short-term sacrifice for the long-term gain. And I know not everybody has that same type of drive or necessity to try to get there as fast as I was. But you guys, I want y'all to know that when I went to conference in January, at that point, I knew I wanted to quit my job. I knew I wanted to retire myself. I fell in love with this business as much as I had fallen in love with these products. And I wanted nothing more but to retire and do this full time. And so that vision that I had is what drove me. I visualized, I want to share this with you guys because this is so important. I visualized every day what my day would be like when I could quit. I visualized being able to take my kids to school, being able to go work out. I know it's silly, but it was something I wanted. And, be there for them after school, work my business, do these parties. I'm getting all emotional thinking about it. But I visualize that every day. And so you have to do that. You have to do that. You can't just say, I want to hit double diamond and retire myself. You have to remember, you have to think about what is that going to look like? And you have to obsess over it every day because that's what drove me. And so I promoted to March, diamond that March. That April, my friend Lisa Romo, who's now one of my triple diamonds, promoted the following month to diamond. And then she was like, okay, wow, I need a little bit of a break because we were going nonstop. And at that point, I was like, I am not letting off. I could feel the momentum from my team. I still had momentum even though I was going nonstop since January. So I kept pushing myself. And that April, I hit double diamond. And then a few months after that, that's when my husband and I prayed about it. And I decided I was going to retire myself from corporate America. So 8 months after joining, I retired myself. I turned in my 2-week notice. 7 months after that, we retired my husband and we are home full time, presidential diamond, and he is triple diamond. So, and again, I really believe it was just having that visual, just every day thinking about what my days would look like and just keeping the momentum going, keeping the fire going, not letting, when any of my team would quit on me, not letting that throw me off. Y'all, I want to show you something. I did a team call for another team yesterday, one of my new triple diamonds. She had me join her team call and it was a charting call. And so I pulled this thing out on that call. And so I still had it right in front of me. And I was like, I'm going to share this with them tonight. This is my diamond chart. I keep all of my charts with each promotion because I feel like it is my blood, sweat, and tears. But I want to show y'all this. So this chart, do you see how like crazy, look, literally ratted, torn notes. I kept this chart with me. It is folded perfectly in my purse. And this chart went with me everywhere when I was running for diamond. When I was executive running for diamond, I always had this chart with me. So this chart was not only just me strategizing about where I was going to place people for my promotion, but it was also my potential distributor list. It was also my potential loyal customer list. It was also who was going to do a party for me. It was also when I met people out blitzing, I would take out my chart and I would write down their name and number. So this was my life while I was running for diamond. And because I felt like it worked for me, this is what I continue to do. Now I can't take my ambassador chart with me everywhere. But like I took these charts with me everywhere. And as my team started growing, I always had their charts in my car. So anyways, that was just kind of like another tip. But yeah, I mean, you just kind of got to keep the momentum going, the positivity going. The fire is so important, but that fire is only going to come from you visualizing what it's going to look like. So if you're going for Ruby because you need that extra $300 to $500 a month, look at what is that $300 or $500 going to do? Is it going to make you just finally have some breathing room so you can go out to dinner with your family and not have to worry about where that money's going to come from? Is it going to be to pay off a credit card? And once that's paid off, what does that mean? Does that mean you get to pay cash for vacation? Does it mean you get to pay off a car? I mean, like you really have to sit down and visualize it. And once you have that vision, every single day you keep that vision. And you look at that vision and you remember what that's going to look like and you keep it in front of you. And that's why our CEO, Mark Pentecost, talks to us about the importance of dream boards. The only thing I really try to tell my team is go further than the dream board. The dream board, and mine's right here in my office in front of me, the dream board is kind of like your template, but you got your template out there, but then it's up to you in your mind to kind of dig into that template every single day and look at that dream board and see what it's going to look like to hit those things. So anyway, that's kind of my story and how I got started. Obviously, people are not going to run at the same pace. And so that's why I said at the beginning, comparison is the thief of all joy. Do not look at the person to the left or the right of you, or your upline, or anyone on your team that may pass you and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did it. That means I'm a failure or whatever. No, you have to remember that's their journey. Remember how I said some people come into this business with a ready-made network? Some people don't. Some people don't have this network of people that have all this money that can just jump in and buy these products. And so they have to work harder to build a different type of network or to expand their network. And you never know either. I mean, some people still don't have that kind of network, but you know what? They're getting ready to have their house foreclosed on, or, their car taken away from them or whatever. And so that's going to be their driving factor. That's going to push them a little bit more. You never know the journey or the path behind someone's journey. So that's why it's so important for all of you not to look at somebody else's journey and compare it to yours. Because remember, God's got your own journey laid out, and there's a reason for it. He may be preparing you for the person that's going to be ambassador. He may be preparing that person that you don't even know yet, that's going to join your team, that you're going to meet out at Target, you're going to blitz one day. He may be preparing their heart right now, just like God was preparing my heart for those 6 months I watched Stacy. So I want to stop right there and just see if there's any questions.
Hey, Kristi, I had something. You just touched on it. I wanted to ask you about blitzing. I think a lot of times blitzing is very uncomfortable, especially if you're new. And even when you've been in the business for some time, it's uncomfortable. And you think I'm guilty of, I'll be somewhere. I'm like, I should blitz that person. I should blitz that person. And then I don't, and I walk away, and it just drives me crazy because I didn't do it. What is a tip that you have regarding blitzing, or how do you incorporate it into your everyday life?
Yeah, I think blitzing, I'm not kidding. Like, it's still one of the things that I am not comfortable with. You can put me in a room of 50 people and I will stand up in front of that room and talk all day long. That is my thing. I just don't like the blitzing thing. I'm not good with like strangers, but it's just a matter of incorporating it into your daily life. I feel like my husband is the world's best blitzer in the world. I want to give you all an example of what he did the other night at dinner. And I was just like, you are genius. We went to one of those, Japanese restaurants where they like cook in front of you. And so, how sometimes they like will put another family or another, couple with you or whatever. So there was these two girls and they were sitting, at the table, and we were just hanging out and getting ready to watch the show. And we could hear them talking about like their business and like their work. Their just regular job, and they were complaining about it, and they were like, well, why don't you just go tell your boss? And I could hear them talking, but I was messing with one of the little ones, and Joe leaned over and said, give me a business card. So I gave him a business card. I dug it out of my purse, gave him a business card. And out of the blue, I heard him say, you know what? He was like, I'm going to give y'all this because I hear y'all talking about your business, and you probably don't get paid to talk about your business at dinner. But I do. It's a tax write-off for me. So I'm going to give you my card just so I get to write it off. And started laughing. And I was like, you're a freaking genius. Like,
awesome.
How awesome is that? And then the girls took the cards and they were like, oh my gosh, I've heard about this. Or I've tried the green. One of them said, I've tried the greens. And then at the end of the dinner, they were both like, oh my God. And then he ended up picking up the tab for them, just kind of like an added, it works, gives back. And then they were just like, oh my gosh, they were asking us questions all throughout dinner about the business and everything. And at the end of the dinner, they were like, we're going to call y'all, and haven't heard from them yet. But that's kind of like a cool blitz.
Yeah.
Another blitz that happened is, have you guys ever been into an establishment where somebody will walk in, like it's happened, I know sometimes when I get my nails done or wherever, but like they walk in and they're trying to sell you like a restaurant gift card or something, and they're like, oh, we're just walking around, or a gym membership, and if you buy this for $24.99 or $10.99, whatever, then you'll get like a free month's membership at the gym, or you'll get half off of an entree. Like, I can't tell y'all how many times that's happened, and I always think like, that's kind of genius, right? Like, that would be cool for me to walk into businesses and do that. Well, I was in the dentist office, as y'all saw yesterday by my post that I did, and I was waiting to be taken back, and this girl walks in, business suit, very nice dress, and she starts asking me to buy a restaurant card for Tilted Kilt for $24.99. And if I buy one, I get an entree for free. And I buy one, get a lunch for free, buy one, get a dinner for free. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I was like, well, I got something for you. And I pulled out my business card and I was like, I got to buy one, get one free too, but it's free. And you don't even have to pay me $24.99. And I was like, have you ever heard of the It Works for Apps? And Kim, same thing. Like my heart was racing.
Yeah.
She was talking to me. I was like, blitzer, 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 blitzer. And my heart was racing and I almost didn't do it. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And that's the thing. And I feel like when our hearts race the most like that, that's, God doesn't test us, but I feel like that's almost like a test. Like you just never know. Like your heart could be racing that fast because Satan's, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm a Christian, so I always talk about it. And I cuss like a sailor, so I'm going to try to guard this mouth too. I feel like when our hearts are racing the most, that's because Satan is trying to block us. They're trying to block us from doing God's glory, right? So if you share this with somebody and then it changes their life, like it's changed my life, Satan doesn't want that. The other thing he doesn't want is because this is a Christian-based company, and we do talk about scripture, and we do talk about God, and we do talk about how we get filled spiritually as much as financially because of this business. He doesn't want that. And so when your heart races, I've turned it into a game where I'm like, all right, Satan, I gotcha. And I just push myself to do it. And so the more your heart races, make that more of a challenge to say that could be the person who needs it most. Not even like get out of your head. That could be the next person that takes me to presidential or ambassador. Get that out of your head. Make it about them. This could be the one thing that changes somebody's life. And so I love hearing from other top leaders who talk about, another leader, they promote to presidential or ambassador, and then they talk about how they met them blitzing and then they were nervous. And I mean, like, you just never know who needs this. And so you got to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Listen for the key words. I feel like, I go and get my little shellac manicures done. Every freaking time I go get my nails done, that to me is just like this opportunity of people, because you hear the people talking to the nail people or to their friends that they're sitting next to, and just listen. They're either talking about how tired they are, how fat they are and they want to lose weight, how miserable they are at their job. I mean, every single thing, stressed out, confianza, not eating enough veggies. I mean, like everything that people say, it should be like ding, 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 where you're getting all these signs of things you can talk to them about. And I just straight up will be like, especially now with the nail salon, I mean, they probably see me come in and they're like, here she is. But so I started going to a new one, and I signed a new customer last week. But so like every single time, I mean, I just say, okay, you're going to think I'm crazy, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to over listen to your conversation, and then I pull out my business card. I mean, it could just be, I love starting blitzes with like, you're going to think I'm crazy, because I feel like that kind of, for me, it feels a little better, because then if they do say I'm crazy, I'm going to be like, well, I told you I was crazy. I opened the door for you to call me crazy. So like that for me feels a little more comfortable. But yeah, you've got the thing too is like, we tell y'all when you join, we're going to teach you how to expand your market. That's the biggest way to expand your market, is getting out there and talking to people. Open mouth, open business. And the best way to open your business is you wear a shirt. I mean, half of my wardrobe is It Works shirts now, but I have them on every single day because the shirts work. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, they really work. And I love it when I have new people join my team and they're like, oh my gosh, somebody really said what works, or, oh, do you do that? I'm like, I told you it works. The shirts work. So, yeah.
That's what I was going to say too, is that I think that having a shirt, there's some shirts on there that are super inexpensive for like $25. Like, just get yourself one. And if you only get one, and you wash it over and over and over, and you wear it over and over and over, that it's fine, because you're wearing it and people are seeing it and they're going to ask you that question, what works? I was going to share just really quick when we're talking about blitzing, like I'm super nervous about blitzing too. And one of my biggest fears, it was being shy. And people will say, I don't think you're a shy person, but we all have inner fears that we deal with. And so a few weeks ago, I wrote my fear down, and I got the tip from Sienna. And I wrote it down, and I went outside and I set it on fire, and I made a video and I posted it on Facebook. And so for me, that was like, okay, now your fear has been burned. You've put it out there. People know about it. You've got to step up. And so the very next day, I went to Ulta because I decided, I was like, I pay too much to go get my nails done every 3 weeks. I'm going to try to do this myself. Okay, number one, I'm terrible at it. I'm going to return it and start going back to the people that know what they're doing. But anyways, I was at Ulta and I couldn't find like the kits where you start doing the shellac at home or whatever. And so I found this girl and I had walked around the store like several times and I couldn't find anybody. And then finally this girl appeared. And so I asked her. She was the nicest person, customer service wise. I mean, she knew so much about the product and she was so helpful and I mean, so informative. And the entire time that she was talking to me, I kept in my head, blitz her, blitz her, blitz her, blitz her. And I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't get over myself for whatever reason. Well, then I went to the checkout and one girl started to check me out. And then I had to go back and get something. And when I came back, she had taken over. And to me, that was the sign from above that this is your opportunity. There's a reason why she took over the register. And so I have a laminated Blitz card on my purse. I mean, if you don't have one, put one on your purse. It's so easy. People will ask you about it all the time. And she said, oh my gosh, do you do that? And I was like, I do. I absolutely love it. She's like, someone else gave me a Blitz card today too. And I was like, or one of those cards. And I was like, that's so funny because I was about to give you one. I was like, you were so nice. And I wanted to give you this coupon because on the bottom of the Blitz card is the coupon. And she was like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. And so she actually took mine and like put stars around my name and put it in her pocket. Now I haven't heard from her, but the point is that I did it. I got over myself and she may call me one day. So now that seed has been planted. And then when I left Ulta, I was so excited. Like I was just giddy and excited. And so it's like a sense of accomplishment for something that was so simple to do.
I love that you mentioned that too. First of all, it was probably my card at Ulta. No, I'm just kidding.
I was at the rim.
You took over. No, I'm just kidding. I want to tell y'all something too. That like I've shared this with my team before too, and I probably need to remind them. Don't look at a blitz like if they don't call or something. Don't look at that as a no. Like to me, your yes was the fact that you did it. Like you did it. And, you think about the analogy that we hear Ashley Sinclair and Chantel shares it all the time. This game, it's like a deck of cards. You got to flip until you're going to finally get to your aces. Remember, there's only 4 aces in the whole deck. And so some of you might hit your aces right up front. Some of you might take longer. Some of them are scattered in between. The point is you've got to get through all those other cards to get to the aces. And so the fact that you blitz someone, whether they say yes or no, whether they call you back or not, that was a card you flipped. And so to me, that's a success. Like, judge your successes on that. Judge your successes about how many times you actually messaged somebody today or actually blitzed someone today. That is a success, Take a record of it in your planner or your calendar every day. Make a little square and write how many you actually blitzed that day, message that day. Make a little note of that. I did that for a long time, and it really is self-motivating and self-challenging. So I love that you said that too. The other thing too that you were talking about with, what was it? It was about, so when you get great customer service, that is such an awesome in with your waiter, your waitress, somebody helping you at a store, anything like that. The in on that is you can just stare at them and be like, you are amazing. You are so outgoing. You are so nice. I would love to have you in my organization. And I mean, you could just start the conversation like that, where again, now I'm complimenting them. It's not about me. It's not about like, hey, I need you. I'm running for this bonus and I really want you to join my team and I'm going to help you get that bonus with me. No, it's, you know what? You're exactly what I'm looking for and I want to hire you. And people are going to feel like that's a compliment, and they're going to take your information. They're going to take your card. Again, they may or may not call you back, but that's a win because you put that card in their hand. And I've shared that before too with some of my team, and my little sister called me today. She's a new Ruby on my team. She just joined not too long ago. And she was like, oh my gosh, I was at Schlotzsky's today and this guy, awesome, friendly, outgoing, and she did the same thing. And she was just like, I would love to hire you. Like, I would love to have you on my team. And she was like, I felt so good. And I'm like, it does. And you know why it feels good? Is because you make it about them. And so anytime you blitz somebody or you're talking to somebody about the business or the products, when you make it about them, I promise you, you're going to walk away from that conversation feeling good, whether they signed or not, because it's about them and it's not like it's not all about you. And so it just feels better. And then the cool thing about that is when you walk away from a blitz feeling good, it's going to encourage you to do it again the next time and then the next time. And then soon enough, it doesn't even bother you anymore. So that was a great little tip you shared there, Kim. I love that.
Thank you. One of the questions that's posted in the chat is, what are your top 3 party tips?
Okay. So my top 3 party tips are, people always ask me, how do you get so many parties? Like, you were doing so many parties at the beginning. How do you get them? And I'm like, it's like this magic trick I have. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
I asked, right? I asked. Isn't that crazy? That's it. I asked. Like, we have a potential distributor list. We have a potential loyal customer list. Give yourself a potential party list and ask people. Like, I was calling my family and friends when I knew I wanted Diamond and I was going for that $10,000 bonus. And I was like, I'm doing this on my own if I have to. I called every single person I could think of in my warm market that I was comfortable with and said, I want you to have a few friends over. I'll do everything. I'll clean your house. I'll bring all the stuff. I'll clean it afterwards. Like, I won't take your money. I don't want your money. I just want your network. And then the thing I would do is then at the end of the party, I would be like, oh my gosh, girl, I just paid like $150. Like, are you kidding me? Do this with me. Do this with me. I'm going for this $10,000 bonus. Like, I'll give you all these customers. And so that's kind of like one tip fold into, or 2 tips fold into one, because the awesome thing about me asking my friends and family to do it is because, again, they would see me do the party. They would see the excitement. And then they would have their friends sign up as a loyal customer. And then at the end of the party, I'd be like, I'm going to give you these customers. So you're going to be off the ground and running right away. So that's my first tip. The other tip is you got to keep these parties fun and simple. If you go to a party and it takes you 30 minutes to do a setup and you are going through every single product, people are going to fall asleep on you. I mean, they're going to be bored to tears. So just be fun and be funny and just like tell about how much you love these products. Don't read off the product labels and stuff. Talk about the personal testimonies that you've heard from either your friends and family or on your team pages or whatever. Like, talk about that, talk about those stories as you go through the products. And really only like 5 to 6 products at the most. I always talk about the wraps, and I bring out a wrap that I've washed with warm soap water and laid out to dry. If you don't have one of those, you need to get one of those. I always have that out and I let people feel it and talk about it and how it all works. I go right into defining gel because that's a sister product to the wrap. I let people try the defining gel on the back of their hand, go right into the Fat Fighter demonstration, and then I go right into the greens, and then I might have 2 or 3 other things. The key to my parties is we're sensory people, right? God gave us 5 senses for a reason. I want people to touch things. I want people to taste things if they can. I want them to feel things. I want them to smell things, because that's what's going to get people engaged with these products, right? And so those are kind of why I always go with those products and then try to pick a few. And the third tip is at the end of the party, like, it's not an option. You're either going to be my customer or you're going to be my distributor. So what are you going to do? Are you going to make me money, or are you going to jump on and make some money? You want to try these products and get skinny, or are you ready to get rich and skinny? I mean, like, it's always like one or the other. Like, which one are we going with? And so, as you're going through the product catalog and you're pointing out the 2 different prices, like, I just kind of skim right over the whole retail price and dig right into the awesome benefits of being a loyal customer. And then again, awesome benefits of being a distributor is you're going to make money, So those are kind of like the 3 tips that I have for a party.
Those are awesome. Thank you. I love parties. I want to work on, I liked your point about the potential party list. We have the potential distributors, potential loyal customers, but a potential party list is brilliant. I really do like that. That's a great tip. One last thing I want to talk about, and then we can kind of end our call because I know everyone's got BOGO customers they need to get to. But okay, so in this business, obviously you have everyone that's in your upline or your downline. But for me, I think it's important to build relationships with people in your sidelines. And obviously that's what's transpired with you and I. And I'll just kind of share how we kind of connected really quick, just so everyone understands, is that, I don't have a great relationship with my enroller, and that's okay. And so there came a point, guys, where I kind of felt lost and I didn't know what to do. And I've watched Kristi on Facebook and had met her a couple of times, and we went to high school together, but we didn't know each other in high school. And so I just reached out to her. And I just said, would you mind helping me? Can we go to lunch? And we went and had lunch in December of last year. And it's been awesome. And she's been someone that I can lean on, that I can ask questions of. She's been nice enough to get on our call tonight. And so I think it's important to build relationships with people that are on other teams and other sidelines, because sometimes you just need to go to someone else, or you just need advice from somebody else. I mean, when I was going for Double Diamond, I called Kristi and we talked about it. And then, then I had the writing on the wall, is what it turned out to be. And so I think it's important that everyone find somebody in another team that you feel connected with, or you can build a relationship with, and go with it. And maybe it's someone that's close to you in your town, or maybe it's someone that's far away, but we have Zoom, and there's so many ways that you can connect with people. So I think building a sideline relationship is very, very, very important in this business.
Huge. And I would even say too, trying to match up with a sideline person, somebody outside of your team, and then having that as your accountability partner. Because then, it's truly there's no vested interest. And so you guys are really just helping each other. And again, I feel like when you're pouring into other people too, that only helps pour back into you. And so, if anybody needs an accountability partner on this team, you can let Kim know, and we can look at ranks, and we can get you matched up with someone from my team. And, we can do even anything, team trainings and stuff together, because I agree with Kim, your sideline friends, to me, as Chantel always said this, my sidelines are my lifelines. And I feel like the same has been for me, and then again, too, the whole accountability thing, that's truly helped me too. So I love that you brought that up.
Does anybody have any questions for Kristi? I mean, just unmute yourself, or any questions in general, or anything that you want to talk about?
In the chat where Amy had posted about you and her sharing friends and who messages who, Ashley and I have the same issue. Do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, Stacy and I joke about that all the time too. And my best friend, who's been my best friend for over almost 30 years, we talk about that all the time too. And I just feel like, I just message people. I don't check with Stacy. I don't check with anybody else that I went to high school with, Kim, Amy. I don't check with anybody. I just message people. And if they say, oh my gosh, yeah, Amy's already reached out to me and I'm thinking about it, then at that point I'm like, girl, you got to do it. Join her team. You won't regret it. And I just kind of encourage it that way. But if you hold back from messaging someone, then you don't know, then, the other person could be thinking the same thing. Oh, I'm sure Kristi's already got her or whatever. No. And the other thing too is I remember when I first joined, and then I had a few people join my team. I remember when I would call Stacy and be like, okay, I signed so-and-so, where should I place, and what should I do? And she'd be like, you signed her? I've been freaking trying to sign her for 3 months. And the thing is you just never know, some people are going to feel more connected to the other person because of the history, or maybe y'all had a class together or whatever. So, it is a little difficult, but I say just message whoever, but be respectful. So if somebody says that somebody's already reached out to them, you support. For me anyways, I totally believe everything comes back around. So I would always support, even if I meet somebody, if I'm blitzing somebody. I can't tell you how many times this happened. I'm blitzing somebody and they say, oh my gosh, my friend was just telling me about this, she just joined. Then I'm totally you need to join her. I just back off and try to support that other distributor, because I hope and pray that other people do that too. So don't let that get you caught up. I would message people and just keep getting after it.
Okay. That's awesome. Did anybody else have anything? Any questions? Cool. We'll wrap it up. Kristi, thank you so much for taking the time tonight to speak with my team. I know a couple of people from your team jumped on the call too, so I'm recording it and I'll get the recording up so that everyone can see it that couldn't get on with us tonight. But again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much.
I love you, Kim. Thank you, guys. It was fun.
Some really great tips. And so I think there's a lot that we can go with and run. And guys, get out there and get those customers for BOGO. We've still got till tomorrow at midnight. It's a great way to get people started. I mean, you can't beat the deal. 8 wraps for $59. I mean, duh. It's like not rocket science, you know? So go out there and get those. And I hope everyone has a great evening. And if you guys have any questions or any follow-up, just let us know.
All right, you guys. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.